You're watching Bet Rivers Pro Football Weekly on the Bet Rivers Network.
Welcome, everybody, to the latest edition of Bet Rivers Pro Football Weekly, along with two-time Super Bowl champion wide receiver Brandon Stokley. I'm Adam the Bull, and we're here every week to give you, hopefully, winners. Some weeks work out better than others. Brandon, how's your week going, man? What's going on?
It's going great, Adam. Going great, buddy. Another week closer to playoff football. And, the stakes are getting higher every single week. So more exciting football. We've had some great games here. So looking forward to this stretch run.
Who would have guessed that at the start of December, the Texans would be out of the playoffs, the Chiefs would be out of the playoffs, the Bengals would be out of the playoffs, the Commanders after last season would be out of the playoffs, the Detroit Lions would be out of the playoffs, the Bears would be the number one seed in the NFC. The Patriots would be the number one seed in the AFC. The Jags would be the 3 seed. There's a lot of weird things going on this season in the NFL, Brandon.
Yeah, it's been crazy. And that's why we love it. That's one of the reasons why we love it, the parity in the NFL. Hey, you know what? And we're going to have a great stretch run here. So we'll see if the Chiefs can get themselves back into playoff picture. The Cowboys are fighting for, so a lot of good teams are on the outside looking in. Lions, and so let's see how the end of the season shakes up. But it's going to be fun.
And the Chiefs will be one of the teams we talk about. 5 teams have been eliminated from the playoffs: the Raiders, the Titans, the Cardinals, the Saints, and the Giants. Nobody has clinched a playoff spot yet, but obviously there's 5 weeks to go. A lot of teams in great shape to make it. All right, let's dive right into this week's action here in a second. But first, I want to let you know that Bet Rivers players who place a same-game parlay of at least $10 on NFL or NCAA football games will receive an entry into the weekly Squares game. Winning Squares can earn up to a $50 bonus bet per entry. See the Bet Rivers app or website for more details. All right, let's get into this weekend's games. We'll start with the Sunday action. Both of us have 4 picks this week. Let's start with a game here in my area in Cleveland. The over-under, by the way, in this game is 33.5, which is crazy low. The Browns are a 4.5-point favorite. They're not a favorite very often. But even though the Browns aren't very good, the Titans are definitely worse. The Titans, who had the number 1 pick last year, in good shape to get it again this year. They're 1-11. Browns 3-9. And you like the Browns this week?
Yeah, give me the home team. Give me Cleveland. Shador's going to be making his 3rd start. I like some of those young weapons around him. Jenkins, the other running back, Sampson. And you talked about the tight end earlier in the year, Bull. They got some playmakers around him. And then, obviously, their defense is awesome, led by Myles Garrett. So, I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to take the team with a great defense, and I'm going to take Cleveland minus the points.
Right. The Titans' offense stinks and their defense stinks. The Browns' offense stinks, but their defense is excellent. One of the probably 3 or 5 best in the league. Titans do have good special teams, which I think is their only hope. But I could see this game being a shutout. I don't think the Browns are going to score a ton of points, and I stayed away from it just because I could see the final score being like 9-6 or something. But if I had to pick, I would definitely take the Browns because you never predict a shutout in the NFL, but this is a game, if you throw in weather, it's going to be, high 20s, low 30s, chance of snow. It's always windy at Brown Stadium. I just think the Titans are good. Unless the Browns turn it over in their own red zone, which they could, the Titans are going to have a hard time scoring.
Like it.
Yeah. All right, game number 1 for me. I'm taking the other team in Ohio, the Bengals in Buffalo. Joe Burrow clearly had a spark going there getting back last week. And as crazy as it seems at 4-8, if the Bengals beat the Bills, now that's a huge if because Buffalo obviously 5-1 at home and a better team. But if the Bengals do win this game, I think they got a legit shot to win out and win the division because after this game, they've got Baltimore at home and then 3 bad teams. As crazy as it seems, but Pittsburgh and Baltimore, those teams are playing each other. They're both 6-6. We'll see. But with Joe Burrow, with the defense playing a little bit better, as bad as it's been, a little bit better the last couple of weeks, the Bills and Bengals always play close games. The Bengals, Joe Burrow's actually had Josh Allen's number. I actually think the Bills are going to win this game, but I can't see them winning by more than a field goal. I think it's going to be a very close game. So I'll take the Bengals getting 5.5 on the road. The over-under, by the way, 53.5. I would bet the over in this game. But I like the Bengals to cover in that game.
How about Burrow? I mean, coming back, extended absence, obviously, a long time. And then next thing you know, he's playing in Baltimore and leads them to a victory. I mean, unbelievable. So impressive. A lot of people said he should have sat out the rest of the year. And, why would he return? And now you're talking about the possibility of them making the playoffs if they can figure out how to win this football game. I mean, hey, that's the NFL, right?
That's right.
It's crazy. So, but you got to put a lot of respect on Joe Burrow returning and what he was able to do against the Ravens.
As a former player, a longtime player, it's got to be crazy to you when you hear people say he should just sit out and not play. I can understand if it was week 17 and they had nothing to play for, maybe, but players want to play, right? Especially guys like Joe Burrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. Every situation's different. You just know the value that he has to the football team and his injury history. The last thing you want to do is make, especially if you're eliminated, is make the bad season worse by, him getting injured again and then going through the offseason rehabbing something else. So, you got to be smart with those guys. But obviously he wants to play and they're letting him play and they still got a shot.
All right, let's continue with the 1 p.m. games. The next game for you, we got the Dolphins and the Jets. Two teams that are playing better lately. The Dolphins still in the mix at 5-7. Jets not at 3-9, but they have won 3 of their last 5 games. The game is in New Jersey. The Dolphins, though, are the slight favorite here by 3, but you like the Jets to cover.
Yeah, I like the Jets in this one. Miami never plays good in the cold. I know they're playing better football, but, man, they looked bad last week. Tua looked a little bit off, and, they held on for dear life against the Saints. It was they should have won that game by 30. So I just think that going on the road here, the cold weather, give me the Jets. Jets still playing hard, and so I'm going to take the home team, the team that's used to the cold weather. So Jets, Jets.
There you go. Saints and Buccaneers, you mentioned the Saints. Saints are at the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield a little banged up, but he hadn't been playing particularly well. Played better last week. Buccaneers are at home. They're a big favorite in this one, 8.5, and you like them to cover.
Yeah, they're getting healthier. The receivers have been in and out. Bucky Irvin's been, hurt, not hurt, and he played last week. So I think being at home against the Saints team again, that they're still playing hard. You got to give them credit and Kellen Moore credit. They're still playing hard, but they're just not a very good football team. I think in the end, the Bucs end up getting a double-digit victory in this one.
Tyler Shuck is shown some promise, don't you think? I agree with they stink, but
yeah, he's had his moments certainly.
Yeah.
They're a team obviously in rebuild mode that's looking for their future quarterback. So, this is what you're doing if you're the Saints. You're trying to figure out if that's a guy that you want to get behind heading into next year.
All right, our audience is used to you picking the Steelers every week, but this week it's me picking the Steelers. I like, again, when the Steelers and Ravens play, it's usually close. I know the Baltimore's coming off a bad loss last week, and you'd think they'd bounce back at home against the Steeler team that is scuffling right now. But these teams, you throw out the record books when the Steelers and Ravens get together. I think they're both mediocre teams that especially the Ravens have disappointed. Some of that obviously because of Lamar's injury. But I think the Ravens probably, like I felt with the Bills-Bengals, I think the Bills probably win, but it's close. I kind of feel the same here. I think the Ravens probably pull out a close win. But 5.5 is too much to give up in this rivalry, so I'll take the Steelers to cover in this one. It's actually gone down from 6 to 5.5, or is it 6, guys? I think it's actually 6, so maybe it's gone up from 5.5 to 6. So I like it even better, plus 6 points with the Steelers.
Yeah, rivalry game. A lot at stake in this one. Control of the North there, and but you're right. When these two teams play, I don't care about their records. They don't like each other. These coaches have been going at it, seems like, for the last 30 years. Harbaugh and Tomlin. So a lot of talk about Tomlin's job. Should he be back? What's going to happen there? So a lot of drama surrounding that Steelers team. That's usually when they play their best. So it should be a good one.
All right, next game on the docket, first 4 o'clock game we're going to talk about. 4:25, the number 1 seed Chicago Bears at the Green Bay Packers. Bears are 9-5. and they're 5-2 on the road. Packers 8-3-1. These teams have not played yet, so they have 2 games in the final 5 weeks, and it could determine this division. A division I think most of us thought Detroit would win, but right now it's looking, not that they couldn't win it. I mean, Detroit's still in the mix, but obviously these teams both ahead of the Lions at the moment. I like the Bears a lot in this one. It took a lot for me to buy into the Bears, so they'll probably fall on their face. But I feel like the Bears have been hyped up for the last bunch of years, and every year I'm like, no, not buying, even this year with Ben Johnson. But Ben Johnson's got this team rolling right now. Caleb Williams is playing much better football. Obviously, their defense, both teams have a good defense. Green Bay's is better, but Chicago's has been very opportunistic in terms of, forcing some turnovers. I know Jordan Love doesn't turn it over a ton, but Josh Jacobs is not 100% healthy. I just like the vibe of the Bears better to, at the very least, keep this close. I think it's a close game in the division. I'll take the Bears plus 6.5.
6.5. It is played. Where's the game being played
in
at?
Green Bay.
In Green Bay. Give me the Packers. Give me the Packers.
Okay.
I'd take the Packers in this one. Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm like you were maybe a couple weeks ago. I'm still not sold on the Bears.
I don't blame you. I finally came around on them.
If they get this one, then okay, I'll start buying in. But let's see what they do here.
I don't blame you. All right, Sunday Night Football, the Texans and the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Last week I picked the Chiefs, said they can't lose again. They're going to win this game. They didn't. Now, this one they got to win. If they lose this game, they're almost definitely not going to the playoffs. The Texans, right there with the Browns, the Broncos, a couple other teams in terms of the best defense in football. We know the Texans have had nightmares in Kansas City. The Chiefs are a 3-point favorite in this game. Where are you going, Brandon?
Give me the Texans.
Okay.
I love what I've been seeing from them. Their defense is for real. C.J. Stroud got back last week, knocked some rust off there, and they had a big win last week. So against on the road against the Colts, the Chiefs, man, their starting left tackle, who's playing really good football, rookie. Simmons out of Ohio State, he's done for at least 4 weeks. They put him on IR. Starting right tackle left the game against the Cowboys. His status is uncertain. So the offensive line's banged up. The right guard, all-pro right guard, hasn't been playing. So I mean, if you can't protect Mahomes against that front with that secondary, they're going to be in big trouble. So I know it's on the road. Kansas City's fighting for their life, but their playoff life, I just think that something's off with them this year. They're just a little bit off. So give me the Texans.
I think there's a lot of things off with them. I still won't pick against them this week, but I get why you're leading towards the Texans. I'm staying away from this one. The Texans should win. It's probably just the name Chiefs that's preventing me from making the Texans as a pick, especially now that C.J. Stroud is back. I know he hasn't been great, but he's still a lot better than Davis Mills. The Chiefs, obviously Mahomes is great, and their passing game could be very explosive. The problem is the Chiefs' defense is just not that good. And you mentioned their offensive line stinks, and they have no explosion in their running game. Like Kareem Hunt, he's a great back in, short yardage and goal line. He'll get, 4th and 1, he'll get you that first down. On the goal line, he'll get you in the end zone. But they have no explosion. Pacheco has not been the same player since 2 years ago. And they kind of get one-dimensional offensively. And that's when you could tee off on Mahomes with a bad offensive line, and that's a problem, as you said. All right, final game, the Monday night game. I got a pick here. Eagles at the Chargers. The Eagles are a favorite on the road. Both teams 8-4 on the season. Eagles are a 2.5-point favorite. I like the Eagles, and a big part of the reason why, and I know they've got their issues. And it seems like, it's funny because, obviously the Eagles have lost 2 in a row. They haven't played particularly well in these games against Dallas and Chicago. But, Dallas is playing much better right now. We got to give Dallas a little credit. And obviously Chicago's playing well. That game was a little weird. But I don't like the Chargers right now because this Justin Herbert situation, I know he's going to try to play, but he's just had surgery this week. And, he's turned the ball over a lot to begin with. I know the Eagles aren't their sharpest, but just when you start counting out the Eagles is when they play their best. And I'm just not high on Herbert this week. I think, and if he doesn't play, then they got no shot. But I'm going with the Eagles on Monday night.
Yeah, you hear my dog back there barking?
Yeah,
He agrees with you. Cody agrees with you. So he's fired up for the Eagles also. How about that? I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Cody's chiming in now. So, I mean, you can't lose. Cody's going crazy.
No,
so
that's the rule.
Yeah, you got that one. That's going to be a W.
That's a lock. When Cody barks for your pick, lock it in. It's 100% certainty. All right, those are the picks for week number 14 in the National Football League. It's the last week for buys. The Patriots, the Giants, the 49ers, and the Panthers with the week 14 bye. And then it's down the stretch for the final 4 games after that. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks to Zia and Alex for producing today. For Brandon Stokley, the 2-time Super Bowl champion, I'm Adam the Bull. We'll talk to you next time on Bet Rivers Pro Football Weekly.
Thanks for watching Bet Rivers Pro Football Weekly on the Bet Rivers Network.